Level 1. The Street Drifter. The road is empty. No street lights here, just a thin ribbon of asphalt cut into the side of a mountain in Gunma, Japan. Your car is 15 years old. The paint is chipped. A crack runs across the windshield, and you've stopped noticing it. You kill the headlights before the first corner. This is Toge driving, mountain pass racing. It has no entry fee, no judges, no prize money. It also has no permission. Drifting on public roads like this is illegal in Japan, and the police know exactly which roads to watch. Mount Haruna is one of them. Officers patrol it specifically because drivers like you keep coming back. Some don't stop coming back. According to Japan Today, one group kept returning to the same stretch of road, so often that investigators counted 193 separate runs before making an arrest. The group? A 36-year-old man and 5 vocational school students. You are not thinking about arrest records right now. You are thinking about the next corner and the 50 meters of asphalt where the car goes sideways instead of straight. Decades before you were born, a driver named Keiichi Tsuchiya did this same thing, on roads not far from here. He wasn't chasing a championship. There was no championship yet. He was chasing tapes. Grainy, illegal recordings sold under the name PROSPEC, filmed on mountain roads exactly like this one. He needed a car, a mountain, and nobody watching too closely. You have all 3 tonight. Somewhere, this same act, done in daylight in front of judges, earns a paycheck. Tonight, it only earns a warning, if you're lucky. If you're not, it earns a fine, a suspended license, or worse. Level 2. The local meat competitor. Daylight now. A parking lot, cones marking a makeshift course, a handful of spectators leaning against pickup trucks. This is legal. You paid to be here, an entry fee, counted out in cash from an envelope that used to hold more. Nobody is watching you for a scholarship. Nobody is offering a contract. You are here to be seen, and being seen costs money before it pays anything back. Your car is mostly the same car from the mountain road. New tires, a welded roll bar you installed yourself at 2 in the morning in your own garage. The receipts for both are still on your kitchen table. There's no license here. Not yet. No governing body decides whether you're good enough. Just a stopwatch, a small crowd, and whoever remembers your name by the end of the day. That's the point of this level. Getting remembered. You watch a driver 2 spots down get invited to a regional series afterward. A real one, with a name people outside this parking lot recognize. He didn't win today. He just drove clean enough and loud enough that someone with a clipboard wrote his name down. You start doing the math on what a regional car actually costs. The money you're spending here is nothing compared to what the next level demands. Level 3. The Regional Pro-Am Grinder. The garage floor is covered in invoices. You didn't plan it that way. They just accumulate, one on top of another, until the concrete underneath disappears. A full spec build for this level costs somewhere between $80,000 and $200,000. According to industry estimates. Engine work, suspension, a cage that meets a rulebook you've read more carefully than any book in your life. The car in your garage right now is not finished. Weekends disappear into it. So do weeknights, spent researching part numbers instead of sleeping. You are competing in one of 7 regional series that feed into Formula Drift's professional ranks. Win one. Actually win it, not place respectably, and you're guaranteed a shot at a PROSPEC license. Finish second, or third, and the guarantee disappears. There is no partial credit here. You have started thinking of your own driving as a probationary period. Every event is an audition you paid to attend. The people who beat you tonight are not always faster. Sometimes they are simply better funded, running parts you couldn't afford this season. Nobody complains about it out loud. Everyone here already knows. What this system does not know yet is that even finishing this car is not the finish line. Level 4. The PROSPEC Rookie. You made it. Formula Drift's developmental series has your name on an official roster now, printed alongside drivers who, a year ago, you were only watching from the stands. PROSPEC exists to teach one skill before any other: how to battle. Precision comes later. Right now, the sport is testing whether you can hold a line 18 inches from another car's bumper without flinching. There are 40 spots in the PRO field above you, and this level is where you prove you deserve one of them. The math is unforgiving. Finish outside the top 24 in PROSPEC, and you can lose the competition license you spent years earning. Not a suspension, not a warning. The door simply closes, and someone else's name goes into your slot next season. You check the standings after every round, the way some people check a bank balance they're afraid to look at. A driver you turned him against this weekend, older, calmer, more decorated, finishes one place above you. He tells you, without much emotion, that he's been exactly where you are, twice already. Both times, he says, he came back stronger. He doesn't say what happened to the drivers who didn't. The road up does not get safer from here. It only gets more expensive. Level 5. The Pro Mid-Pack Driver. You're in the show now, the real one. 40 drivers, one field, cameras, live scoring, a schedule that spans the country. It costs more than you expected. A competitive pro season runs somewhere between $150,000 and $500,000, according to reporting from within the drift industry. Tires, freight, fuel, a crew you now have to pay, because you can't rebuild a twin-turbo motor alone between events anymore. The prize money does not cover this, not close. Even a strong mid-season finish might net a few $1,000s against a six-figure outlay. You've started thinking of the season itself as a road, one you already committed to driving, whether or not you know what's waiting at the far end of it. Sponsorship conversations happen constantly, in parking lots, over text messages that go unanswered for weeks. A logo on your hood might cover a quarter of what this year costs. It might cover none of it. Only a small fraction of the field, by most estimates, 1 driver in 10, will ever turn this into something that pays for itself. You don't know yet which one you are. Only 1 in 10 drivers on this grid will ever make this road pay for itself. Level 6. The factory-backed driver. Overnight, a new logo appears on your hood. You didn't put it there. A crew member did, before sunrise, while the car sat under shop lights. You are one of the fortunate ones now. By most estimates, only 5 to 10% of the Formula Drift field earns a real manufacturer salary, somewhere between $100,000 and $300,000 a year, on top of sponsorship income. Papadakis Racing, the winningest team in the sport's history, runs on roughly 12 people: engineers, spotters, a marketing lead, a car chief, supporting just 2 or 3 cars on any given weekend. You are not just a driver anymore. You are the visible part of a small company. James Deane, a 5-time Formula Drift champion, put it plainly in one interview. He sacrificed everything and more to give this a shot, working every job he could find before sponsors ever arrived. You think about that quote more than you'd like to admit, because the sacrifice never actually stopped. It just changed shape. It used to be your own money. Now it's your own name, your schedule, your image, handed over in exchange for the check that finally covers the invoices. The team believes in you. The team also keeps a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet does not sentimentalize a bad season. Even here, with a salary and a team of 12 behind you, the sacrifice never actually ends. It just changes shape. Level 7. The season champion. You won. The trophy is heavier than you expected, and lighter than what it cost to get here. A Formula Drift Season Championship pays a bonus of roughly $25,000 to $50,000, according to industry reporting. The season you just won cost somewhere north of $150,000 to run. The math does not favor you, even now. James Deane has done this 5 times, including 3 championships in a row, a record no other driver has matched. He has also, by his own account, rebuilt his career more than once, changing teams when one partnership ended and another began. Winning, it turns out, is not the same as being secure. You call the sponsors first, then your crew, then, eventually, the people who don't understand what any of the numbers mean, who just know that you won and are proud, and ask when you'll do it again. You don't tell them about the invoice sitting on the same table as the winner's check. Cameras find you in the pit lane, and for a few minutes, you are the entire story. The story does not mention the 2 years it took to find sponsors who cover the cost of just showing up. The trophy travels well. It just doesn't travel alone. The debt comes with it. Level 8. The International Crossover Star. 55,000 people are screaming in a stadium in Poland. Your car disappears into a wall of tire smoke, and for a moment nobody can see the machine. Only the noise it's making and the shape it leaves behind in the haze. That crowd at the PGE Narodowy Stadium set the largest recorded attendance for a drifting event anywhere. Drift Masters, the series that grew out of Europe and has since dropped European from its name entirely, aiming to be something the whole world competes in. You're part of why it can claim that. You no longer compete in one country. You run Formula Drift in America, chase points across Europe, and take invitations to Japan and Asia, where the sport's original circuits still operate under different rules and different judges. The travel blurs together. Airports, time zones, a hotel room that looks like the last 4 hotel rooms. Back home, on the mountain roads where all of this started, someone is drifting illegally tonight, with no idea any of this exists. No idea that the thing they're doing for free, in the dark, has become large enough to fill a stadium on another continent. You are one of a small number of people who move fluidly between every version of this sport. The Japanese judges, the American license system, the European stadiums. Fewer than a dozen names carry that kind of passport. Behind a crowd that size is a system controlled by fewer people than you'd think. Level 9. The global drift icon. You've become bigger than the sport that made you. People who have never watched a Formula Drift event recognize your name from a video game, a movie poster, a highlight clip that crossed over into culture that has nothing to do with motorsport. That crossover isn't new. 2 decades ago, a film, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, introduced an entire generation of Western audiences to this world, with Keiichi Tsuchiya himself consulting on the driving. Interest in the real sport surged afterward. New fans became new amateurs. New amateurs became, eventually, some of the drivers occupying the levels below you now. You are a symbol of something most of those fans never think about. Risk transferred. In the sport's history, There has been only one confirmed fatality connected to a major professional drift event, and it wasn't a driver. According to reporting at the time, a wheel came loose from a competing car at Nikko Circuit in Japan after a fatigued bolt sheared off. It struck a spotter, standing in an area the event considered safe. She did not survive. Drivers walk away from crashes constantly, cushioned by cages and harnesses built for exactly this. The people standing at the edges, watching, are not always given the same protection. You didn't design the safety rules. You just benefit from them every time you climb out of a wrecked car and walk to the next interview. The system built to protect the driver never asked who else was standing in the blast radius. Level 10. The series founder. You stand behind a chain-link fence now, watching a teenager practice on a closed course you built the rules for. He doesn't know your name the way he knows the names of current champions. He doesn't need to. Every rule that decides whether he keeps his license, every point deducted for a shallow angle, traces back to a system you helped invent. In 2000, you and a partner, Daijiro Inada, co-founded D1GP in Japan, the world's first professional drifting series, with real judges, scoring line, angle, and style on a 100-point scale that every major series since has copied in some form. 3 years later, promoters in America watched what you built, staged an exhibition at Irwindale Speedway, and founded their own version. It launched in 2004. It is still running today. You did not learn any of this in a classroom. You learned it on mountain roads, at night, running from exactly the kind of authority you'd eventually need to negotiate with. Police, promoters, sanctioning bodies, television deals. The chain-link fence behind you is not so different from the guardrails on those old Toge roads. Then, it kept cars from going over the edge. Now, it keeps spectators back from a car that might come apart at any moment. The way one once did, fatally, for someone who was only ever supposed to be watching. You wrote the rules that govern all 10 levels below you. You never wrote the rule that would have protected you, decades ago, from the police who chased you up that same kind of mountain. Level 1 does not know Level 10 exists. He is only thinking about the next corner, and whether tonight is the night someone finally writes down his license plate. Level 10 remembers every mountain road he ever ran from the police on, because that is the only reason any of this exists at all. Both of them are chasing the same physics, the same feeling. Neither of you is free. One of you has simply gone further in finding a way to get paid for it. The cycle continues. A cracked windshield, a mountain road, headlights off. This is where professional drifting begins, not in a stadium, but on an illegal run through the mountains of Japan. The same kind of road that inspired Tokyo Drift. The man who turned this into a global sport did it by breaking the law first. On a road police still patrol to arrest teenagers doing exactly what he once did. By the end, you'll know why the champion and the kid on the mountain are running the same math and losing it